Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and Radio Show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily. With organic, farm to table, neuralized, localized, sterilized, ribbed for her pleasure, available via Amazon Prime, shipped worldwide, not available on Sundays, and now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, Internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Back again up in this biz naive. We go ahead and get this out the way early. Today's date. Shut up, y'all laughing in the background. All that nonsense. Today's date is Wednesday, July 29th. Year our Lord.
Year our Lord.
I say year our Lord.
Year our Lord.
20 and 20. And it's been a very eventful month this way, both good, bad, and ugly. Before we get too deep into conversation, because we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time. Conspicuous by his absence is the Petty Messiah. Peace and blessings go out to him and his family, grieving the loss of a loved one currently. And hopefully we'll be back here with the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast infused with hip hop real soon. And so prayers up to you, brother, and we'll see you when we see you. Just make sure you take care of home first. That out the way. Mr. Burgundy, what's happening?
Man, another week, another COVID-free experience.
Just clap it up for that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hit the bell one time.
Get to there we go.
Yeah, I mean, just having to find new and interesting ways to get my wrestling fix, because if you're depending on the traditional forms of delivery, it is getting rather skimpy. Man,
listen to this. So I made it a point to let it be known that I was on COVIDcation. I decided to leave the great state of Texas because Texas be Texasin, and because, bitch, Texas.
Tejas.
The day that I left, my house my neighborhood was victim of a power surge. And I later found out that it was possibly a victim of a direct lightning strike. And all of my entertainment in the living room, where I usually sit back and prep, was shot to shit. So from home theater receiver and speakers to internet modem to DVR to television, all gone. So I was expecting to come back home from COVIDcation and catch up on a bunch of wrestling, when apparently I have nothing to watch because my DVR is gone. So the only way I had access was via, the apps, the interwebs, the websites, that type of thing. And of course, through the heralded, sought after, patented Broken Pencil Booking Company text thread, because that's where the business really happens, right there in that text thread. So
gangland for wrestling nerds.
Yeah, straight up. And, and shouts out to the was it Internet Wrestling or Internet Championship Wrestling, the Facebook group.
Let me do it right before you get us kicked out.
Hold on, let me hit myself so that way they know I'm not biased.
About to get us fucking exiled. ICW, the Internet Champions of Wrestling private Facebook group.
Yeah, them folks go hard in the paint. They are super active, and
indeed, and quite knowledgeable.
Yeah, so, I would say very educated.
Other wrestling groups we've kind of been involved in as a way to promote the show and to just kind of spread the gospel and interact with like-minded people. Some of them are not quite as active or as up to snuff. This one's been good.
Yeah, there are some. I don't want to minimize them and call them smarts, but there are some people whose sense of humor and timing is on par with the stuff that we say.
Right. And this seems a little bit more like, okay, this is the AP class. This isn't like regular orientation and you just kind of sitting in a group of people. Like they actually placed you somewhere that you work out.
and maybe that's the internet's working again, and in the favor of those who exercise it for the greater good. There's one cat on there who's always with the shit, and it's a hashtag. He's definitely hashtag with the shit. Elijah Edwards. I'm going to give him an individual shout out. So, yeah, he's definitely he deserves that. He's on it
with the hashtags while we setting up.
All right, so mark my words. Folk Life Shawty with the shit. Broken Pencil Logic. Fuck the Casual Fan and. You Can't Write This. Those are all 6 of them.
Johnny, tell him what he's won.
I've won the internet. There we go.
And for a nominal fee, we will take some of this broken pencil knowledge, slice it off, and put it on your plate.
I need to get that old Brother Love that. I need to get that loaded up on the trigger.
What you told me that was some other song that was like it was a complete ripoff of a whole nother song.
I think it's an Al Green song. To the Good Times.
Yeah. Then there's that.
Yeah, so it later became a rap record.
But it will come up later in this episode.
Straight from the deck.
Straight from the dead. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It sounded exactly like the Brother Love song.
Yeah, so that's where it came from, was that For the Good Times. Or To the Good Times.
For the good time.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, shouts out to real quick Herschel Cooper, HC3 Enterprises, man.
What up, bro?
I got a new, if you're in the Dallas area and looking for some good place to have some tacos and some libation while staying socially distant and leaving the place COVID free, I'm at Tacos Patron in Dallas, off of Dallas North Tollway in Spring Valley, managed by Dallas Cowboy legend and Super Bowl champion Kevin Smith, who we met again for the first time last week. And yes, I did say met again for the first time last week because he doesn't even realize that he met me and that he knows me. It's just that, and I didn't realize that I was talking to the same person who I met 10 years ago, completely unrelated to football or anything. It was just on some, let's converse and exchange information and see how we can help each other out. And here we are meeting up again 10 years later and actually helping each other out. So yeah, Tacos Patron.
Number 26.
Yeah, man. Tacos Patron. Dallas, and I will be out there on Thursdays for the foreseeable future from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. jamming goodness. And so it's a vibe is what we do. We vibe. And a steak night at the taco spot. So there. All right, all that out the way. Man, so I want to start today with Booker T.
Okay, all right. Well, just drive the car right off the overpass.
Because I'm gonna have you drive. So before I actually get sleeping, I have to pull over and let you take over the wheel. I want to get this out the way. I want to drive down the hill and take this exit and park this car and grab my drink. So
you're gonna drive off a cliff and then throw me the wheel?
I'm not driving off a cliff per se, but well. Naomi has been getting the Give Divas a Chance treatment on SmackDown. Was it SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been getting. Sadly, only way we can keep up is by the ring ropes, because even Impact has gold ring ropes for a pay-per-view, which confused me with NXT big time. At any rate, I digress. So Naomi has been getting the Give these Divas a Chance treatment. If you remember back about right before it was WrestleMania 32 in Dallas.
Yep.
Where the Divas title became the Women's Championship again, and the movement was that the Women's Revolution was all in full swing simply because of someone got jobbed. That was a women's match that lasted like 37 seconds or something on a Raw, and it begot the whole Give Divas a Chance movement. Well, Naomi's getting that now, and people are soon forgetting that she was a women's champion, I think a couple times. And
yeah, she's a multiple-time women's champion, has actually won the title at WrestleMania 33. which was her second, I believe her second reign as SmackDown Women's Champion. One of the better champions in the SmackDown Live era.
Facts, big facts. And is always entertaining. The kids love her because of the colors. Gears fly, and she actually is athletic as hell. So
she's everything you would expect a WWE production to come off like. Big pretty, lots of colors, dynamic entrance, lots of movement, a full-fledged gimmick, something that empowers women and children, yet
and women of color, no less.
That part.
And she's gang. She's in the Samoan dynasty.
That part. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how she spends so much time at home. I'm not sure about that.
I don't know how she spends so little time on television. Not just at home, but I don't know how she spends so little time on television. That said, a hashtag was started, which was Naomi deserves better.
Right.
To which Booker T decided he wanted to chime in and give his 2 cents on. If you know anything about Booker T's opinions, he's very, for lack of better terminology, opinionated. And we can appreciate having an opinion. It's just, that's not even a but. It's just that every time he has an opinion, it starts off with someone as a big brother and comes off as a drunk uncle.
Jesus. I completely get what you're saying. Can't say that you're wrong. What it is like you read his explanation, you read the comments that he made about the hashtag and what it meant for Naomi and why she shouldn't feed into it and XYZ. You can look at it 2 ways. One of them is like, this person means the best for the person that they are speaking to. Like they really truly only want the best for you. They want you to be better at every aspect of your craft and then reap the benefits of being better at every different level of your craft. The other way to interpret it is it's our culture's version of get off my lawn.
Man.
Like it sounds like that's the most, I'm going to leave it at that because that's the most respectful way to say it. And people will understand. It's literally our culture's version of "get off my lawn," and it seems like finger wagging.
And even still, like it's like you don't want to say it's "get off my lawn," but it still feels like and looks like "get off my lawn." So I guess if it walks and talks like a duck and has feathers and lays eggs, it's a motherfucking duck.
Here's the reason that it kind of causes like some mixed signals. This is the same. Multi-time champion Hall of Famer that will say, if they gonna open the checkbook and pay you, take the money. Because that was his stance when dealing with FTR about, to hell with,
loyalty and trying to make things different. Or
to
better.
Hell with the craft, to hell with the art, to hell with, what you feel about creative. They're going to pay you, take the money.
And do it exactly what the hell they told you to do. Which we saw how that worked out for Anderson and Gallows.
They hit the bell one time.
And Gallows was hold on, let me count. 1, 2, I think he was a 3-time WWE veteran at that by that point, by the time they left. Am I right in that?
Festus, 3 times.
There.
He's had 3 different runs with the company. Very good. I like that. So I looking at the way he said that before in terms of money, I look at it in terms of Naomi potentially riding the wave of that hashtag. Now, she has since taken a different stance about the hashtag.
She took a very high road.
Yeah, she took as far as like in the media and even on television with the way they're going forward wise with sort of acknowledging it, but she doesn't feed into it quite as much. Because to be perfectly honest, well, I'll get to that part in a minute. The creative on SmackDown kind of twisted it in a way that I didn't really care for. However, I don't look at Naomi, if she had chosen to ride that wave, I don't look at that any different than telling someone to take the money.
Yeah.
I just don't see a difference in the two, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to try to get over, right? That's at the end all be all is to get over.
Get over, because once you get over, then you become successful. That's the golden rule.
So, in an industry in which we have to understand with pro wrestling is where athletics, entertainment, and politics meet. It's an incredibly political situation, and as it's sort of akin to the music industry, which is why this show works so well. Broken Pencil Logic, pro wrestling, hip hop podcast infused with hip hop. These things happen for a reason.
Yeah, and we're the infusion of hip hop. Don't get it twisted. We still have music that we talk about and that we play on here, but we are the infusion, including the Petty Messiah. We are the infusion that we speak of. So you're getting us, and this is genuine. This is who we are, and that's what podcasts are all about: are having characters who are actually the real people. So we are. I hate to say sports entertainers, but we're actually entertaining sports entertainment products. That makes sense.
It does. So with all of that, it's the whole thing becomes weird. Some of these things are easier for us to speak on because we've actually experienced it. By dealing in the lane of entertainment, very much so, we understand how these things work. The idea is to get over. And you hear this get argued with a lot of rappers nowadays. It's not about how good they are. It's about how famous they are.
How many likes they have on their social medias.
It's all numbers, but at the same time, those numbers are easily manipulated.
Yep.
So that's another tutorial for another episode. However, if Naomi had chosen to ride the wave of Naomi deserves better, there's a possibility that you create a Becky Lynch type groundswell because of the social climate we're in.
Oh, the hell you say. Now, let me stop you, because that's another issue going on in the E right now. It seems like, and it might be happenstance, but it seems like there is a groundswell of support for those of color, i.e.
That's not an accident. We ain't gonna play. That's not an accident. That is by design.
If we go back about 7 episodes, we started talking about in jest the color wheel of champions. Mm-hmm. And it's seeming to get a little bit darker
every week.
I mean, we have a champion who's not even a champion carrying a belt, who's a person of color. Matter of fact, he's probably the blackest person on the roster in terms of MVP. He's not even a champion. Has a brand new belt. The belt's fire too.
Well, here's the thing. Considering some things that have been passed around on the internet, he's probably the champion for the foreseeable future.
And I can see that, because somehow there's going to be an angle, and I'm sure it's probably going to culminate in a ladder match with both belts up, similar to Triple H and Razor Ramon for the IC title. I'm sorry, I said Triple H. I meant Shawn Michaels. You're absolutely right. I'm actually looking at the match in my head. At any rate, WrestleMania 10. You know what I'm saying?
10. Or SummerSlam 95.
All that. At any rate.
SummerSlam 98 for Triple H and The Rock, if you're on the network.
Yeah. So we say that we out here, we jamming in these streets. At any rate, I just don't. It's so much out here, and it's good talent. I just don't want to have a moment on SmackDown become the poster child for everything that happens to in a company who has shown that it doesn't care. For instance, right now, Dawkins and Ford,
Street
Profits, Chain Gang, they're the Raw Tag Team Champions. And as it sits right now, they're going to be going up against Andrade, Andrade and Garza, yeah, at SummerSlam for the WWE Tag Team Championships, the Raw Tag Team Championships, and they're probably going to win, which adds more color to the color wheel of champions. It's a little bit lighter shade of brown, but it's still brown.
Man, it just seems to be a whole lot. There are not very many titles that are not occupied by people of color at this point. Or is it? It's Braun Strowman and who?
Who's the IC champion?
Oh, AJ Styles.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
All of it's on SmackDown. Wow. So
wait, say it again.
Yeah, so both of your American-born champions are on Fox.
Outspokenly conservative.
Yes, both of your outspokenly conservative male champions of American descent
are on Fox.
Of Anglo-Saxon American descent are on Fox. Now, like I said, this shit ain't an accident.
You would like to hope that it's a happy accident.
Ain't no happy accident, man. ain't nothing happy about this accident. This was planned.
Man.
An orchestrated plan, which is another reason I do not understand why you don't let Naomi go forward with the whole Naomi deserves better. You could have, me personally, if it's me, broken pencil logic moment. If it's me, I let her embrace it on camera, in character, then continue to let her embrace it to the point that it starts to go to her head, that she becomes entitled, and that she feels like she's owed something, and that character manifests into a natural heel turn. She basically becomes an African-American version of Karen.
Keisha? Is that
nah,
no,
I'm not gonna let you get us canceled with that shit. No.
I just said because it had two syllables and started with a K, but I got a cousin named Karen. So shout out to my cousin Karen. Yo,
again, I appreciate the effort, but you ain't gonna get us canceled that easy. We work too hard.
But it's funny that you should mention that scenario, because guess who shows up on AEW tonight?
Who that?
Ariane. Funkadactyl.
Refresh people's memory.
Funk is on a roll. I forgot what was her name as a Funkadactyl, because she was actually on Total Divas. I guess it was like the first season, and I think, and she had endometriosis, and it caused her to have to step away from the ring for a little bit, and by a little bit I mean long enough for the head Funkadactyl, what's Brodus Clay, to become Tyrus, to go to Impact, and then become an analyst on Fox Business and all types of other dumb shit he did.
Her name was Cameron.
Cameron, that's right, Cameron. Good job, Suave. So Ariana's actually her real name, and she pops up on Impact. That's another thing we got to talk about too, is that damn tag team tournament they got. Nice concept, but if this is how we're starting out the gate with her and the Native Beast.
Here's the thing. It's a good way to introduce. People are going to be critical because they feel like the last time they saw her was that's as good as she's gotten. She's had a chance if she's been willing to put the work in, alluding back to some of the comments that Booker T made and left on the table for Naomi about getting better at your craft, putting the work in, doing the little things. She's had ample opportunity to do that away from the spotlight. So doesn't that seem that those comments seem like, now that you see Ariana Mack on TV, that those comments might have been more pointed towards her than Naomi? Yeah, but there's only one with the WWE contract.
No, I totally understand that. But
on the cool, Booker does have a connection with the family, so he's like, almost like a adopted godfather of the Samoan dynasty, considering his role in developing.
Sidebar: didn't he bring
Jimmy J?
I was about to say Jimmy J, and also didn't he have a hand in Jacob as well?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. He should be pipeline at this point.
Man,
so that's the part where I have to look at Okay, Booker means well. He doesn't mean any harm. He doesn't mean to be harsh or abrasive. It's just the way that it came out was like, no, don't you take nothing from them people. Earn it. And then, like, what's the difference? This is professional wrestling. People are given shit every day. They're given good creative. They're given title runs. They're given direction. They're given characters and everything else. Why should you be any different considering all of the different obstacles you face?
So here's a good one. Movements are given runs in the E. Online movement, social media movements are given runs in the E, right?
I can buy that.
However, people, wrestlers, entertainers are given 15 minutes in WWE. You want proof of that? Zack Ryder. James, what's the dude? Skinny James. It was AJ Styles' sidekick. Came back and got fired the same day he came back.
Ellsworth.
James Ellsworth, another prime example of a person or a wrestler or an entertainer.
Well, see, here's the thing. I feel like Zack Ryder was a movement. It's just the fact his movement was so far ahead of its time, and it's one of those situations he got over without anyone else's help. So now it's like, no, we got to put you in your place. Ellsworth, yes, is a WWE creation, just like Gilbert or Jameson or any of those other goofy ass characters that have come along in subsequent decades prior. That is a 15 minutes of fame situation. That had no staying power. At no point was James Ellsworth going to main event a WrestleMania. Under any circumstances. I don't give a damn how good the story was. He wasn't going to main event WrestleMania, ever.
Yeah, all the training in the world. I mean, truth be told, you can compare that to Zach Gowen because Zach Gowen would have never main evented a WrestleMania either.
True. Now, Zack Ryder, there's absolutely a scenario where if you give him the right creative and the right push, that you could create an incredibly sentimental story for that man to headline WrestleMania. That's possible. But because it wasn't created by a WWE employee other than the actual talent himself, you see that same brick wall that we keep hearing about that people hit.
Meanwhile, Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder, shows up on AEW tonight, and Jim Ross did more for Zack Ryder's outside interest in 15 seconds than WWE did with him in 15 years. Let that sit for a second.
I don't know who's in charge. Well, I do know who's in charge, but I don't know who's like the next in charge. Because
I think there are too many. I think there's too much accountability. And no. I think there. Okay, I think there are too many levels of accountability, and the people working actually care about those levels. The problem is the people in those steps don't care about what the fuck's going on TV.
I can partially agree on that, but we had this conversation before, even about when Jordan Miles had his situation with the T-shirt, and we were like, he's totally responsible for okaying that design, but how many people did that design pass through before it got to him? Right, and that's what my issue is with WWE. What he did. Yes, I mean, if he didn't know and then he came into the realization of knowing and then reacted based upon that, that's a whole different conversation. I'm saying, how many people did that design pass through that okayed it and thought it was just fine before it got to the talent to be approved? Because that is the next step before WWEshop.com.
So, on that same token, while we're talking about movements and things of that nature, internet is starting to pick up on a little steam on something. I forgot who specifically I saw this from yesterday, but it seems to be a bit of a reach. But how did Shelton Benjamin end up at it was part of the Hurt Business, aka the new Beatdown Clan? So if you're keeping score at home, you have Benjamin, Lashley, and MVP. BLM. Maybe this sounds like something that would happen when you smoke weed.
Hit the bell.
sounds like some overacting, like some overthought rhetoric when you smoke weed, but there's some credence here because I'm sober as shit.
All I'm gonna say on this is like, this is not a WWE creative creation. This is either a happy accident or this is the work of the most tenured of the trio.
Oh, buddy. And it could be. well, the most tenured, wouldn't that be Benjamin?
Depends on how you want to count it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not that far off.
No.
MVP might have been working some indies before that too.
Yeah. There was an indie he was working. All right.
We will not be disrespectful to the greatest. I can't say he's the greatest Miami talent ever, but you know what I'm saying. The greatest MVP of all time.
He's definitely the MVP. That's for sure, and no disrespect intended either.
He's carrying. Him and Randy Orton are essentially carrying Raw on their back right now.
You know what's sad is they were after Orton had his first run. They had a little spat over the U.S. title back in like 2003, I believe it was. And here they are looking to be poised to be right at the top of the card after SummerSlam, because Orton is poised. Is this going to be number 14 or 15 for him?
I have lost count. I'm not sure. I don't even want to lie on this record like that.
I think it's going to be 14.
You know, rumors circulating around the internet is the MVP is close to a whole nother bag, like another long-term high money deal.
Oh, and speaking of bags, before I get too far off course here, shouts out to the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu for securing another MLW bag, this time for the foreseeable future.
I've never been so happy to be so angry. Like, I'm totally happy for his pockets. I'm glad for everything that he has accomplished. It is well deserved. We've spoken the praises of Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf.
We saw him in person,
especially since seeing him in person not that long ago when the MLW was in the DFW area. It's just, I selfishly wanted him on primetime television.
You smile and say, damn it, at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck, congratulations.
Get your money, you punk ass. So it's looking like Orton's probably going to walk away with the belt at SummerSlam, because there's no other reason why not to. Plus, it takes color off. Then you have a whole lineup of people that he could go up against after that. So
I don't doubt anything you're saying. I'm just like, that seems so fucked up for Drew.
Yeah, because he never got a chance to perform with the belt in front of a crowd.
I never got to raise the championship in front of a crowd. Like, that's damn near as sad as, like, remember the old story they did with Tommy Dreamer in ECW? Like, he won the championship and immediately got challenged and lost it. So the whole story was like, he was ECW champion for about 15 minutes and never got to wear the belt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Kind of, sort of like that. Now that I explain it that way, I can see a reason why you would go ahead and have Orton take the title, and then when you get a crowd back, that's Drew's defining drive, is to get back and hold the championship up in front of a crowd. I don't necessarily have the faith that WWE Creative will use that, though.
Doing my Googles, that this will be his 14th if he wins at SummerSlam.
Well, congratulations to Randy, because, yeah.
I just do you what would be the odds of seeing a fucking 4-way tie at the top? Flair, Orton, Cena, and Triple H.
Slim and none.
I don't know. Triple H don't have too many miles off on that tread.
Here's the thing: it's, you got to get whatever audience you have left to sit through these title changes and at some point they're going to figure it out. So Triple H, who just turned 51, happy belated birthday to you, sir. He needs how many more title reigns? 2?
2, yes.
So that's a miracle in itself. Then you getting Randy to 17, not not the hardest thing to accomplish. Probably not even the most unbelievable thing.
We haven't seen hot potato with the WWE title in a long time, and I wouldn't mind a nice game of hot potato for about a year.
I think I would mind.
You would?
I would mind because I know they won't do it right.
Okay. Ye of little faith, or should I say, we of little faith?
I just don't have. Yeah, I have no faith in their creative. I have none whatsoever. And I don't. Anyone who would sit here and try to argue that we should have faith is on some sort of narcotic. Because what is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Albert Einstein.
That part. So there's no way I'm going to continue watching weekly television or whatever internet specials they do, or whatever documentaries or 24s or 365s they put on the network, or any of the other shit that goes with it. The creative is what it is. The system is broken, and the people that are a great deal of the content pumped out by the people currently receiving a check from WWE is trash. Like, fuck it. I won't blame people, exactly, but whatever filtration system is in Stanford that is taking a concept from idea to execution, something is flawed. It's fucked. And
okay.
It's been that way for a long time.
So we're going with a lot of points and proof of concept in the same thing here, and there's also knocking out the agenda. So we're getting like 3-for-1 bangers here. On the agenda, we were talking about Rey Mysterio. No, we haven't actually had a chance to talk about this whole eye incident, and we knew it was coming, and how it was done. The fact that they won't show Rey losing the eye anymore on TV, but they will repeatedly show Seth blowing chunks, if you will,
because they're trying to sell the reaction to it.
And I mean, all we have to do
ping pong, as our good friend Jim Cornette would say, the ping pong ball with the red Sharpie. All we have
to see is just go to the fucking network and see the shit for ourselves. We don't have to throw that dumb shit down our throat. If we want to see it, we'll go see it and let the numbers speak for themselves. That said, we're after Extreme Rules and still having these damn matches. Rey Mysterio is still got legs in the storyline that was supposed to culminate at a fucking pay-per-view, and now Dominic is involved and getting other people in their fucking eye. This is the eye, really? Like Seth Rollins, Tyler Black, former ROH World Champion, former WWE Champion, former Universal Champion. This fool is in the middle of a eye war while looking like a reservoir dog.
Now, normally we're pretty stiff on Kung Fu Panda, but this isn't his fault.
No. This has absolute. Oh wait, well, hold on. We are behind. We're wrecking the car, fam. Hold on. We can't do this without. Since you said that. We can't bring him up without doing that. And I actually absolutely agree. It is not his fault, but it goes back to what
is his fault though? How is it that we have a feud that has been going on for months on end with Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio, and we don't have one classic match to speak of?
Bruh, two people who are capable of Iron Men matches. Rey Mysterio has had more knee surgeries than some people have had years combined with any four people that they can think of. And he's been wrestling like on U.S. television since what, 18? He's 44?
Yep.
Bruh. How is this possible on network or on primetime television where he has been for his entire career?
Hey, check this out. I just came up with something that makes a whole lot of sense to me. So sometimes we look at different wrestlers and say that they transcend genres or they're able to mirror athletes of different sports.
Okay.
Who would you say is Michael Jordan?
Who would be the closest to Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Man, I hate to say it right now, it's John Cena.
Well, here's the thing. Don't just look at current because I actually have a different player that makes more sense for me with John Cena. But I'm saying just all time. So like if you were gonna say Magic Johnson is Ric Flair or Michael Jordan is Ric Flair, something to that extent.
All time Michael Jordan.
This is probably
Triple H.
A decent show concept.
I say Triple H.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a show.
I'm gonna tell. I'll tell you why. When Michael Jordan played, I didn't appreciate him until he went to Washington. Because I was a Lakers fan. I was a Lakers fan.
I got you.
I even lost my hair betting on the 91 championship.
Tragic.
Bro, big time. Luckily, it was in the summertime when that shit ended, but I still had a couple of days. It actually wasn't summertime because it was a really quick series. And
Will Smith, hold your head. Summertime.
Yeah, man. Like the 2 or 3 days of the last week of school back in '91 for me were ball headed. And yeah, man. And I remember doing a book report when Jordan went up and did the layup where he switched hands, and I was just like, I might as well go ahead and do this right now. Just chop it off right now. So I didn't really care for
one. That's a show concept for later.
Yeah.
Number two, I said that and brought it up to say I have come to the conclusion just now that Rey Mysterio is to pro wrestling what Allen Iverson is to basketball.
Absolutely. Hold on, man. Let me switch this real quick here, and yeah, great analogy.
Because I've seen some recent media headlines, especially actually from Cody Rhodes, praising Rey Mysterio. And I was like, there is actually a generation of wrestlers and wrestling fans that look at Rey Mysterio as like the uncrowned GOAT.
Do you understand? I just thought about this too. Can you believe that when Rey Mysterio started wrestling on primetime television, I had 0 kids. And now he's still wrestling, and I'm a grandfather.
Whoa.
Let that marinate for a second.
The first time Rey Mysterio wrestled on television, you had no kids.
Had 0 kids.
So that's what, 96?
Yep.
No kids.
0 kids.
And now, today, Rey Mysterio is less one eye, but still wrestling.
88,
you are a grandfather.
872 knee surgeries later, and I have 7 children and a grandson.
Rey Mysterio deserves better than this, but he'll get it because as soon as this contract is up, we can get this one last tour of New Japan and a farewell run in AEW, and then we can do shit the right way. And
probably a farewell run with Vicky in tow.
Oh man, then we're gonna call Chavo.
Man, that might be. Who would you bring in? Who would you? Because you got to go out swinging. Who would you go out? Who would take Ray out in AEW if he went out in AEW?
Sammy Guevara. That is the immediate first name that comes to mind. Like he's like how you bring him in is you have him be one of the unknown challengers for Cody Rhodes. There'll be some reason he doesn't win, but they have a 5-star match. Cool. Then you start the run, do what you got to do. He gets into it with Sammy Guevara, old guy versus young guy. He, trying to one up one another, and then eventually Sammy Guevara goes over.
And if for whatever reason,
in a pass the torch moment,
if for whatever reason Sammy G is unavailable, there's only one other person that can take his ass out.
Who you got?
Mr. Body Bag himself, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Man, he is that. Anytime I see Burberry, I think Body Bag. Because of him.
Oh man, I'm sure he knows how obnoxious that scarf is, and that's why he wears it. But that is the international flag of the baby shower.
Man, I encourage anyone within an earshot of this podcast to go to YouTube, to AEW's YouTube page, and search for the MJF State of the Industry address.
We need to just put that on the end of the episode, just as a bonus treat.
I may have to. Matter of fact, that's worthy. That's a body bag that's going on there. We haven't had a good one in a long time. That's going to be the end of the episode. That's going to be your body bag for this week. MJF State of the Industry Address, courtesy of AEW Dynamite tonight.
I heard Keith Lee might have had one that was closed, but I haven't heard the promo yet.
Yeah, I need to check his too. Shouts out to Big Keith 2 belts. He actually had he won so it's been a minute. He took out.
It has. Take your time.
Adam Cole, baby, took him out, and became the NXT heavyweight champion as well as the NXT North American champion, the first person to ever hold two singles titles in NXT. Big Tech's 2 belts, gave up the North American title as per any old school territory rules. You take the mid card belt or the workers championship, and also the main title. You give up the workers championship. I've never seen anybody give up the main title to be the working champion ever.
I'm not used to the champion electing to give up the championship. Now, William Regal had made that decision saying that you can't occupy both titles at the same time, and you had to relinquish one. Like, it just doesn't seem right as a competitor and a face competitor. Why would you give up a championship? You just say, no, I'm going to defend them both until I can't anymore. Because
I'm hardcore. The only person who I've seen to do that and do it successfully was Jay Lethal. Like, I've never seen anybody I've never seen anybody be the face of the company and then successfully carry 2 championships, whether it be a tag team and a singles title, or be the face of the company and then do what he did, which was carry the company with the heavyweight championship and also have the television championship. And
all the more reason I feel like you may have missed an opportunity with Keith Lee, because you will not have another Keith Lee walk through the door.
He's a generational talent, and he won't be there.
Just have him wrestle twice on every card from now until you decide to beat him.
I'm going to tell you now, he won't be there when these crowds come back. Even if it's 2022, he ain't going to be in NXT when these crowds come back.
It's going to be some people. It's going to be some people that aren't in the NXT fold that won't be on WWE television at all when these crowds come back, because I feel like there's another round of cuts coming, and then I feel like some people are going to start opting out.
I don't think it's going to be as deep as Black Wednesday. Speaking of Black Wednesday, boy, these segues are coming like a vehicle for police officers.
Yikes.
We called. Well, I don't know if you want to take credit for this too, but I know specifically I called July 15th the 90th day.
You had the date down to a science. Now we can go through and pinpoint how many people I said was going to go where, which Impact made sure I had to eat all of my words.
No,
I dropped his bag.
So. The most surprising, and at the same time, not really, was Anderson and Gallows, who went to Impact. But I believe, didn't I call Impact, or was that Petty that called Impact on them?
Might have been both of y'all. The fact that Impact is open to letting them also work New Japan dates and actually have another deal with another company. Basically, they have a deal with Impact and then a second deal with New Japan.
Yeah, that's you talking about bag security.
They're like the Koch records of fucking wrestling.
So they can come and drop a mixtape on a major distributor and then go sign with a label.
Yes, like they can function for the bag out here. Impact for the time being, until I see different, Impact is artist friendly.
The new Impact, that is. The Impact managed by owned by Anthem Sports, Anthem Media.
That damn owl.
Fuck that owl. Owl, hey, that owl is doing pretty good things since the whole all these scandals or whatever, man. Because there's some people that needed to go that have gone, and the product instantly became better. And
run down the list of the new signees and where all they went.
All right, so this is off the top of the head. At Slammiversary, which the date was July 17th, right?
Give our Lord.
Yola Law 2020, and the 90th day, quote unquote, was July 15th. So we got EC3 and Eric Young back. We got Anderson and Gallows there. Miracle Mike Bennett back to Impact.
Oh damn! I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yep. Eddie. Oh, by the way, Eddie Edwards. Shouts out to you. You are the new Impact World Heavyweight Champion. And listen, you talk about a throwback belt. Man, that belt fire.
Impact Championship game was impressive. I was like, okay, this is a world championship. Like, this is the new thing. Hey, everybody's getting new belts. You're going to have your shit together.
Yeah. And Anderson and Gallows are there as the Good Brothers. So that I like the fact they're actually putting that name to use.
I do like that. They have merchandise for it. They also filmed their own pay-per-view.
Wait,
Talking
what?
Shopmania, which will be available August 1st.
Yeah, man. And there, what's even crazier is you have Tex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad making an appearance at this pay-per-view.
I feel like we have to be under just some sort of an influence to watch that.
Is it as long if it's $1 I'm in? If it's more than that, it's going to be a problem.
Jesus, if it's $1, I mean, they're trying to make a buck here. It's supposed to be on Fight TV, so we can go check and see how much it's going to cost.
Now, also, we did catch wind of a promo from one Heath Miller, formerly Heath Slater.
I got kids, cuz.
Yeah, and a hell of a truck note. And he's going to be who was he challenging? Moose. That's right. He's challenging Moose for a contract. So if he wins this match against Moose, then he'll be a signed Impact talent. Which, where else is he going to go? And which is kind of crazy in this era because during his 90 days, his last week was spent on Monday Night Raw with his former 3MB bandmate Drew McIntyre.
And I didn't see. It's $14.99. I just saw it. Okay.
Oh, they charge you money for it.
Yeah, Talking Shopomania is $14.99 on the Fight Network on Fight TV.
Wow.
I didn't see Tuesday's episode of Impact, but I'd lead myself to believe that EC3 is going to be involved with Moose losing to set up a match with them. But that's how Heath is going to get in.
There is a lot, and I do mean a lot of cinematic shooting on Impact now. It's kind of cool because since there's no crowd, you have to be creative, and they actually have a reality show on there that's pretty entertaining. They have some pretty entertaining stuff on there, kind of kooky, but at the same time, it's like, what else you gonna do? And it's a far cry from the shit they were doing a year and a half ago. That's for damn sure.
I'm trying to figure out how everybody else has sort of found a way to make content at least somewhat interesting in this whole situation, except for WWE. People with the most experience at it.
Except WWE.
Like, the whole thing about, like Vince said long ago on Beyond the Mat, we don't do certain stuff, we make movies. Like, good Lord, this shit is bad. They're
literally stealing. They're stealing my $9.99 every month.
Like, yeah, at this point, you getting $9.99 for the back library. You're not getting it for the new shit. Yeah. You're getting it for access to the old library. So this whatever you have playing with these new tiers and shit, just throw that shit away because you're already stealing money.
Also on AEW, as we said earlier, Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder, has shown up on there, as well as Ariane, the former Cameron of the Funkadactyls, has showed up on AEW. Now, mind you, she's been gone for a couple years, so I can't count her as being one of the ones from Black Wednesday. But there's still another 30 plus talents that are either already have homes or waiting to debut. I mean, it's open season. But all of this has just happened within the last week and a half, So we're in high tide, high season right now for talent, man. I'm just happy to see people are still out here working and people out here signing folks.
Like I'm glad that there's been so much of a spread of talent from the free agents, it just kind of makes me wonder, like, what was the motivation of AEW to add and not add certain talents? Now, I heard, shout out to the good brothers Gallows and Anderson and their podcast, Talking Shop. They went live as their contract was expiring to explain a lot of what the final days in WWE was like, why they didn't go to AEW the first time the contracts expired, what the plan was if they had gone to AEW, and the subsequent fallout when they re-signed with WWE. But I still don't see why AEW doesn't make the play to sign them anyway, considering you're hanging your hat on tag team wrestling.
You talking about WWE?
No, AEW.
AEW, okay.
Well, I guess I should bring you up to speed. On the Talking Shop podcast, they were the first time that Gallows and Anderson were going to, before they re-signed this last deal, they had an opportunity to leave. They had been unhappy probably about 6 months into the first time they debuted. So
we remember that because
we beat up the Usos. 6 months after that, they were ready to go.
Yeah, the best thing they had going for them was being the best in the world, but they had no belts to prove it. Plus, they were losing every damn thing.
And that's the second run. The first run is like when they first got there, beat up the Usos before the first run of the club. So they decided they were going to leave. The plan was for them to sign with AEW and debut on the first episode of Dynamite. And at the end of the first episode of Dynamite, they would have come out to the ring and two-sweeted everybody in the Elite, with Kenny Omega and then the Young Bucks, and then they would have turned around and kicked the shit out of them. And I guess they would have continued. I guess that's essentially would have continued the Civil War.
That's exactly what it was, because that was split between ROH and New Japan, literally. And then it moved over to NXT. It moved over to the E, because then you had Finn get called up, and AJ and Finn were, different brands, and it was just one of those things.
But that was the plan had they gone to AEW, but then obviously they got an enormous contract offer that they agreed to, but apparently there was some friction between friends when Gallows and Anderson decided to re-sign with WWE, simply because I guess it felt like they burned the Young Bucks in negotiation, however it was supposed to go.
Right.
Like, they thought they had it locked up, and then you just got an offer that you couldn't refuse and took the offer.
So
it's a good listen, though. You go back and it's a lot of cool shit to get from there.
So who do you anticipate seeing where? I mean, like I said, we still have names that are out here.
Okay, let's play that game. Show me who's still out. Who the jury's still out on. I'll try to guess where they go.
All right, so hold on. Let me see if I can pull up a list real quick. Oh, Miro.
Who is recovering from COVID-19. Wish you speedy recovery and great health. I'm gonna stick with New Japan, like some version of New Japan. If either Impact makes a deal where he can do Impact and New Japan, or it's just New Japan. That's what I'm sticking with. I'm glad
you said that, because we got to close with that and the AEW tag tournament that's coming up. Let's see who else. Kurt Angle. If he's going to go anywhere, it's AEW, but I don't think he's going to wrestle again. For that reason, I don't think he's going to AEW. I think
nothing more than a one-off.
I think he goes to Impact.
What, it's like a figurehead?
Yep. He's already a Hall of Famer there. Why not?
Okay. I'll go AEW on that, though.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, Brian Myers. Brian Myers showed up also. Kurt Hawkins showed up in Impact.
Yes, true.
Leo Rush has done his last match, losing to, who did he lose to?
I thought he just did a run-in at a GCW show.
Yeah, that was his last match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess.
Whoever he wrestled, I forgot who it was off the top of my head. I just know that whoever it was his last match. Let me do my due diligence and get that information here real quick.
Not sure. I believe that's his last match, but I'm okay.
Blah 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 blah. What's it? GCW.
Yep.
Joey Janela.
It's actually free on Fight TV.
Yeah, Joey Janela is who it was. Joey Janela. Joey Jello.
Don't do that.
Yeah, Joey Janela.
Cornette calls him Joey Nutella.
God, yeah, what I said was bad. Okay.
Joey Jello and Joey Nutella. Like, good God, be respectful.
Sarah Logan. Wait, she's out. She just announced she's pregnant, right?
I believe, but she also decided she was just going to leave wrestling altogether to pursue other interests.
Yeah. Let's see here. If anybody else that's of note. Only other person that could possibly have star power, he just needs a new name, would be No Way Jose that I saw. I could be wrong, but No Way Jose. And Eric Rowan. Where those two?
I recently found out, well, I've read, so I don't know how true it is. Recently read that Brody Lee and Rowan can't stand one another.
Wow.
so for that reason, I'm going to say Rowan doesn't end up in AEW, maybe. I'm going to send Rowan to Impact. And who was the other one?
No Way Jose.
I'm going to also send No Way Jose to, you know what? I take that back. I feel like No Way Jose needs something of a character shift. I think he needs to reinvent himself. So here's my wild card. I'm going to send him to MLW.
That would be a nice refresh.
Either that or Ring of Honor, but he needs to go somewhere like where he doesn't dance or shimmy, and he just kicks people's asses.
Now, what about the Colognes? They'll be my last guess. Well, my last pick on these. The Colognes.
Puerto Rico.
I mean, they never left.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, they don't have to go anywhere else.
Well, stateside. If they decide to come back stateside, where do they go?
I don't know. I want to say AEW because of the tag team aspect.
I like that. I want to raise you one on that. The only way I see them coming to AEW is if it's with Carlito. They have to have all three. Like the Puerto Rican Freebirds. I don't
see a reason you can't get all three. I mean, you got enough money.
Now, what I could also see, though, because of proximity to the island, is MLW for those two. Without Carlito or doing cameos with Carlito.
I mean, I could just as easily see him in Impact since it looks like Impact has dedicated themselves to spending money on talent.
It's going to be a little bit harder to travel up that way and stay there because I don't know where they're shooting their shows out of, but I do know that Anthem is based out of Canada.
Blame Canada.
Don't do that. You're talking about don't do things. All right, so earlier today, Kaz Okada went online and was talking about a new title that's being created, and actually it was a couple days ago when this happened.
It's being created, but it's not being created.
So let me see if I can get the rundown here. An annual competition, KOPW. 8 wrestlers will wrestle in four first-round matches. The tournament ends in a fatal 4-way match. Looks like a yearly exhibition match with the previous year's winners defending. And there are all types of matches, and the rules are not limited by anything at all. So you have 2 out of 3 falls, ladder matches, steel cage matches. It could be anything. The fans will vote for which wrestlers' rules will be voted or will be followed for the singles matches. The winner of each of those singles matches will face each other in a regular rules fatal 4-way, which usually fatal 4-way means no disqualification. Whoever wins that match will be the provisional KOPW 2020 title holder. The title has to be defended until the end of the year, with the stipulations for each of the matches where the title is defended being decided by a vote from the fans. At the end of the year, whoever holds the KOPW 2020 title will be awarded the KOPW trophy, and then the tournament and process will begin. Will start again for the next year with KOPW 2021.
Well, at least they're trying.
It's new, it's fresh, and it's getting.
I like it.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's fucking awesome. I really no. All sarcasm and bullshit aside, I do like this concept. The King of Pro Wrestling tournament. I mean, come on, I'm being facetious when I say this, but I'm also being dead ass serious. At least they're trying. They're coming up with something.
You call it the King of Pro Wrestling, but KO also stands for Kaz Okada. Is this his promotion within the promotion?
Should help you turn him heel.
Yeah, is this his promotion within the promotion? Is this a way of giving him the first title and making him run the gamut for 2 years in death matches, basically? Like,
so he doesn't monopolize the world title?
Yeah, I mean, shit. He's been the Rainmaker. He had a bullshit run in TNA years ago. I mean, like, didn't they put him under a mask and call him like Kato, like on some Kato shit, like some
Jesus Christ, that's a dated reference.
That's what they did to him. Look that if you don't remember, look that shit up.
So Pat Tanaka was in his corner.
Put some reverence on his name, Pat Tanaka, as DDP would say.
Rest in peace to Mr. Fuji.
Man, let's see, and then the AEW, there's a special name for this tournament, and it's for a cup, no less. The Deadly Draw. The Deadly Draw is what it's called. So
they're continuing to run with this casino theme.
Not necessarily.
No, because this is probably going to culminate it all out, and they're drawing poker chips.
No, I thought they were drawing cards. Well, they're shit. Never mind. There it is.
Hit the bell for me one time. You know I don't come with bullshit stats.
So
come on, son.
The rules are as follows.
I ain't heard it.
It's a random draw tournament. All competitors must draw a color. Matching colors will become a team. Selections are final and cannot be appealed. The first team.
That's how Ariane ended up with Nyla Rose.
Yeah, so Nyla Rose, Native Beast, and Ariane are now they were the first team announced, correct?
Yes, they are the purple team.
Yeah, so these colors are going to be that of Power Rangers, so and Voltron characters. So we'll have the whole rainbow color covered here. Like, we'll just call it the Skittles tournament, the Skittles Deadly Draw tournament.
Careful, it's going to start to go off the cliffs.
Well, wait, the AEW Deadly Draw tournament sponsored by Skittles. That's what it's going to be. I like that idea right there.
Taste the rainbow.
Hey, no, that's how it goes off the rails right there.
Hey, look, that is the tagline of Skittles, and you open Pandora's box, so you see how this happens.
Oh, man. So,
color wheel of champions, my ass.
while we're on the topic of AEW, shouts out to Fuego del Sol, who is recovering from COVID-19. Get well soon. I'm glad your symptoms are minimal, but you still have tested positive. So make sure you do your due diligence to stay socially responsible, as you have been, by letting the world know and letting people know that it is important to wear your mask, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, I just saw Fuego on this past episode of Dark. So yeah,
Fuego's been showing ass on Dark. It's only a matter of time before. It's only a matter of time before he actually ends up on Wednesdays on a regular basis. And you got to admire his hustle. He has a job in Oklahoma. He works and lives in Oklahoma, and I remember one week he drove to Houston, drove to Houston. I think they drove overnight to Jacksonville. He made his testing, wrestled, I'm sorry, he was there for an opportunity to wrestle, ended up getting a match, and then caught a flight back on Wednesday to be back at work on Thursday.
You gotta do what you gotta do, famo.
That's hustle. That's hustle. And of course, he's not under contract. And if he is, he's doing a great job keeping it under wraps. But the way if you're working like that, there's no way you're under contract if you still have a day job. So, yeah, man. People can learn a lot from Fuego del Sol. And we've been singing his high praises for the last couple of years now. It's all real. Dive, Fuego, dive. Strive, Fuego, strive. Right now, stay in your hive, Fuego, hive. Yeah. All right, man. Anything else we got?
Check the itinerary and make sure we hit all the hot spots. Pause.
Yo, Bav. I don't see anything that we missed for what we talked about. Oh, Nick, if you want to touch on Nick Aldis and Bruce Pritchard, we can.
I don't want to touch on him, but I will discuss him for a second. So, Bruce Pritchard, who is loved, hated, revered, all of the above, current executive director and creative director at WWE, has a long-running podcast with Conrad Thompson entitled Something to Wrestle. Most of you who are probably listening to this are well versed about that show. Recently, on a not too distant episode, they did a review on old TNA, because Bruce Pritchard has worked for TNA at different times, worked at WWE. He's a lifelong wrestling. He's a lifer as far as in the industry.
Sidebar, we have subscribed to Impact Plus. There's a ton of great content on there. Go ahead.
True, factual. So while discussing this pay-per-view that he was in the company for, I discussed his professional and or personal opinion on some of the talent that were on that card that have gone on to do other things other places. He spoke very highly of Santana and Ortiz. He loved the whole LAX situation. That was something he was really fond of. It doesn't really come to my mind about who else he was really high on. I know he's always really been high on Alberto Del Rio from his time at TNA. Things of that nature. He has had some different opinions on Cowboy James Storm and also Nick Aldis. So when the subject of Nick Aldis came up, some seemingly disparaging remarks, or not even really disparaging, was just the fact that from Bruce Pritchard's standpoint, he didn't think that Nick Aldis was being himself. He thought he was playing wrestler, more so to like he was a character or a mashup of like 80s champions or something to that effect. Like it wasn't the real Nick Aldis who was performing then or in TNA when he was Magnus. Well, Nick Aldis took offense to that and responded with some pointed comments referencing the low ratings of WWE Raw and SmackDown, touting some Hall of Fame and celebrity cosigns to his work, and then also doubled back, which what I thought was the most telling and most pointed retaliation in defense of his honor. It was a tweet. If I can pull this up real quick.
Pause for station identification. This is the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. Broken Pencil BC on all things social. Broken Pencil BC at gmail.com. Show brokenpencilbc.com. Yeah.
So it's 7:57 a.m. on 7/28, year of our Lord 20 and 20.
Year of our Lord.
Amen. Nick Aldis tweets the following. A quick note on this whole Bruce Pritchard thing. I don't like online feuds and being air quotes controversial or air quotes outspoken. And this isn't about some guy with a podcast criticizing me. Lord knows I've had that before. It's the executive director of the market leader of my industry. Now,
bring that back
before we got on the air.
Bring that last part back.
Where do you want me to pick up? And it isn't about some guy with a podcast criticizing me. Lord knows I've had that before. It's the executive director of the market leader of my industry. Now, when I said that to you, your first reaction was what?
I feel that if we're hearing that Nick Aldis is calling Bruce Pritchard out for stepping down because he holds him in a high regard because he's in a very high position of power and he came down to fuck with Nick.
Which I didn't, me personally, I didn't think about that at first, and that makes a lot of sense. The way I read it was, motherfucker, you are in a very high position.
Don't be acting like that.
Yeah, don't be hoeing me in front of people, because the people that you're around that hear you say that shit about me and my character are potentially the people that could be signing my checks. You short-stopping my money and you knocking down my options.
Man.
Like NWA is not running right now, so Power's not filming new shows. Nick Aldis is the NWA champion. He's not taking any bookings, to my understanding, just because of the global pandemic that's going on.
Yeah, I mean,
there is going to come a time where he's going to want to make other decisions for his financial benefit. If you are eliminating the leader in the market from that potential place, i.e., because either it's going to be a problem working with you because you have a pre-existing disposition about who you think I am, or they're going to turn the other cheek on me in a bad way because of what you said on a podcast. Like, EC3 can attest to the fact that it only takes one time for you to be thought of as less than, and that's where you stay.
Bruh. Like, I don't understand. For those keeping score at home, EC3's WWE run as EC3 started at the end of NXT with him in a feud with the Velveteen Dream that got him. It was such high regard that got him called up without even having a title run in NXT. Then he goes and mind you, he was in the North American title picture in NXT, the inaugural North American title picture. Then he ends up going to the main roster for literally cups of coffee and catering.
He helped Job Moxley out on his way out.
And I mean, that's pretty much the only thing it was noted for was that. It was brutal. It was a brutal watch.
I'm just like, how much better would his life have been if they had just left him in NXT?
There's absolutely there are no limits to how.
Okay, let me kind of say this with that. When I say how much better would his life have been if he had stayed in NXT, I want people to look at something. The whole idea behind EC3 in WWE and the whole 1%er gimmick, that's Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
That's it. And not for nothing, when that gimmick started, Maxwell Jacob Friedman might have just been either breaking into wrestling or may have even still been in high school, possibly.
So at this point, you pretty much would have had the top 1%ers feuding back and forth on Wednesday night television.
And that's not to say that it's still not possible, but you've knocked some tread off of EC3, who has a new look. And
he's abandoned that 1%er character, though. Like, that's for him.
Completely. But that doesn't mean that we can't have that, because we know, like, you can't take Mick Foley out of Cactus Jack. You can't take Mick Foley out of Mankind and not expect thumbtacks at some point. You see what I'm saying? It's sad that's certain things that come to pass, but like when you're dealing with a 1%er, quote unquote, and you put him in the ring with another 1%er, you know you got the 1%er versus the 1%er.
Yeah, if I actually had faith that he would draw from that, I honestly think we're at this point, like, he's starting from ground zero, trying something completely different, and I'm gonna remain patient. I won't be harsh in my criticism. I wasn't a huge fan of the vignettes that kind of led up to this, but I'm gonna be patient to see what the end result is. Because we had that conversation before about when he was doing his countdown. Like I was cool with the countdown to releasing the character. I like renaming himself Essential Character 3. I like all that. The vignettes haven't necessarily connected or resonated with me just yet, especially not as much as the Heath Miller one did.
Right, there you go.
Like Heath Slater's hype video of him leaving WWE and then just going into the unknown of waiting to see what's next, that had me more intrigued than anything I saw from EC3 homemade vignette wise.
There it is. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks because we have AEW All Out being built. And then we also have, is it All Out or All In? I guess it's All Out.
All Out.
Okay, yeah, so it's All Out being built, as well as the finishing touches on SummerSlam coming through. Hopefully we don't see anything cinematic, but something tells me we will with The Fiend.
Shouldn't this be Let It Ride? All in, all out, let it ride, bet on black.
Let's see, what else can we do? Call. AEW call. let's see what else you got. Let's see your hand.
AEW poker face.
And then that's another thing I wanted to say too about the whole SummerSlam situation. Brock Lesnar's name is coming up way too much.
Oh, I've already heard he's out.
For real?
That was what I read. Now, what I read is that he was out because there weren't going to be any fans involved. So I can see how that makes sense. You don't pay for a Brock Lesnar appearance that you can't cash out on.
Well, he may not want to get paid that way, but I guarantee you, if he says I want to work, they're going to find something for him and get a check to cash, whether USA and Fox likes it or not.
Brock Lesnar said, "I want to work."
True. It's very, very true.
Like, it's pay me or pay me double. That's the only shit that comes up when you think about Brock Lesnar. You got him to work in an empty arena one time. Next time you do that shit, it's going to be on a video game.
There it is. And not even be the cover. He'll be a guest.
Defend either.
Yeah, man.
Then doesn't he live in like Vancouver?
Nah, he lives in it's property in Minnesota that he has, but he also has property in Canada just across the border.
How much you want to bet he's in Canada?
Oh, I'll bet a fat funky monkey that he's in Canada. I bet you dollars and donuts that he's in Canada.
So he can't get in the country right now anyway because Bobby Roode's stuck in Canada.
Blame Canada.
Shit, I don't blame them or Canada.
And let's be honest. Right now, are they really stuck? I mean, I left Texas for 3 weeks because of how bad motherfuckers are acting here.
You didn't leave the continental United States.
No, I did not. But I drove halfway across that sumbitch.
Yeah, driving across, you can do whatever you want to within the confines of the United States.
I ran the fuck away. That's what I did.
Ain't no in and out. You either stay in or stay out.
Yeah, man. I'm just glad they weren't checking my credentials because I would probably still be stuck in New Jersey right now if that were the case.
Riding dirty.
Straight up. And let's see. Oh, I just got this in my email. Shouts out to producer extraordinaire, hip hop legend Aguilar, the Don Bishop. He just sent me a brand new album that's going to be releasing. I would hope that it's going to be this Friday if he sent me what he sent me. But I just got directly from his hard drive an album that he has with the great Sadat X, a brand Nubian, called The Gods Have Arrived, along with their instrumentals.
Word?
Yeah. things I get from people who respect the God. So, yeah, that's that. Anything else before I go ahead and throw in this body bag?
I believe we have covered all of our bases.
Cool.
I think so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Broken Pencil Pusher Nation will alert us if there's anything we haven't discussed. But I feel like we're caught up within reason.
Well, tell friends to tell friends, please, because we greatly appreciate you guys tuning in and hope to see you. Check us out on thebeastradio.com. If you didn't catch the U.S. title GOAT tournament that we did, it's available right now on the podcast channel. What I do recommend, though, is that when you listen to us on the Beast, that you understand that you ain't gonna get the whole show. So make sure you tell your friends. If you hear us on the Beast, you need to subscribe. Broken Pencil BC on all things social. Show brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. The hashtags will find us. All that Broken Pencil BC, Broken Pencil Booking Company, all that stuff finds us. So we try to make it easy for you. And Maxwell Jacob Friedman's gonna take us out. Meanwhile, Suave, take us to the house.
Pencil pushers, heads up, pencils down.
I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but this is like the worst podcast ever.
By far.
Oh, trash.
We all know wrestling fans aren't all that bright, but fortunately for you, I've been given an exorbitant amount of time here tonight to force feed you all with knowledge like a 5-year-old being fed mac and cheese. Oh, okay, honey, I'll read off the sheet. Can you just do the world a favor? Give me a little smile, huh? Huh? You look so much prettier when you do that, honey. Thank you so much. Okay, speech time. Please. I love you too. Before I start this speech, I would like to implore you, our AEW fans who we are so grateful for, please use the following hashtags. Hashtag MJF2020 and hashtag #NotMyChampion. You'll find out why in a moment's time, so please bear with me. Thank you. Right now, I'm sure you people are shocked to see me here on Dynamite 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, not on the sidelines, with the bench warmers. You're doing great, by the way, guys. Proud of you. Now I'm sure you're asking yourself, MJF, that's a really good point. Why does that always happen to you? I'll tell you. The reason I'm never spotlighted 2 weeks in a row is because a certain individual is afraid of being upstaged 2 weeks in a row. And that is why it is time for a change in leadership around here. Change. It's a powerful word I just used. I remember when this company first started, I saw men calling for change. One man in particular called for a paradigm shift. He said he wanted out with the old and in with the new. Well, I don't know about you people, but a guy on top of the card who gets to do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, and wrestle whoever he wants, simply because he came from the place of titans, isn't new. That's old hat, brother. This quickly went from being a revolution and has unfortunately turned into a dictatorship, and that is why Jon Moxley is not my champion. Now hold on, people. I cannot tell a lie. Absolutely. I will not stand here and pretend that Jon Moxley isn't one of the greatest wrestlers our great sport has ever seen. However, I feel it's high time that we, as a society, have an honest discussion about all the negative side effects that have occurred ever since the Moxley reign has started. Wrestling. It's on the marquee, and yet people, where is it? All I see is a bunch of great wrestlers having to come out here and perform gymnastics, flip-flop and fly and or almost die in an attempt to make you, the viewers at home, think they're good at their job. That's just wrong. But I don't blame you, AEW fans. You see, you have been brainwashed into thinking that that is what good professional wrestling is. And that brainwashing starts all the way at the tippy top. And that is why, Jonathan, a world champion is supposed to lead by example. He is not supposed to let his roster mates come out here and play wrestle, and he's damn sure not supposed to come out here and cosplay as a specific wrestler, and that's a stone cold fact. Now, I don't have to play wrestler because I am one. I'm undefeated. I am the first and last MJF. You know what I'm not, though, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not a media analyst. and yet everybody wants to pretend to be because everybody wants to talk about ratings. And that's why we treat Dictator John so well, right? Because of his name value, right? Because where on earth would the numbers lie without Dictator John, right? Wrong. You know who on average happens to draw better numbers minute for minute than your Dictator John? Yours truly. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? That's because Dictator John doesn't want you to. See, according to Dictator John, I'm not on his level. Why should he have to deal with the likes of me? And to that I say, how dare you? AEW is meant to be the land of opportunity, and you've squandered that, and that is why it's time for a new guard around here. Because the old guard's been running the show on this planet for centuries, and look where it's gotten us, people. War, famine, disease. Our earth is dying and so are our morals, and yet here we are with Jon Moxley running the old guard, and our infrastructure is falling and falling fast. Well, I'm here to tell you people that I can catch this company, throw it on my back, and sprint this brand up the steep terrain to the very top, because my talent outweighs your tenure, John. I am AEW. I bleed black, white, and gold. I'm the guy who's going to be leading this company for the next 25 years. Do the math and grab a calculator. And that is why I'm making a promise to you that I will not stop until we go from happily glad-handing each other for being the alternative and transform this brand into the pinnacle of professional wrestling.
Very poignant remarks from
Jon Moxley. I am challenging you for your world title and announcing my candidacy as the AEW World Champion. I'll see you at All Out, John. We deserve better.